Great. I'm glad you're laughing already. All right, so I am Rashad,
And I am Kesha.
and this is Hanging with the Joneses, special episode. Episode number 6 also is going to be the Mother's Day edition. If you have a child, birthed a child from your vagina, or elsewise have somebody else's child with you, you love children, or you're in a position where you take care of a lot of kids, even though you may not have your own, happy Mother's Day to you. All of you guys are mothers.
Aunties, everyone.
Sis, godmoms, like whatever, grandma, great grandma.
Friend of the family.
Yeah.
Hey, happy Mother's Day.
Like if you take on any sort of maternal role in some child's life, even if it is a grown up adult, happy Mother's Day to you. Seriously, like we love you all. Moms are great. Today, since it is Mother's Day, we're gonna basically be talking a lot about this mother right here.
Me.
Yeah, she's a mother. So we're gonna be talking about.
I thought you was about to curse.
Yeah, it was a double entendre. Yeah, I'm glad you caught on. So I'm not gonna curse though. It's gonna be basically around Kesha today. Just a quick update. Just want to check in. Let everybody know how was last week for you.
Well, smooth.
Good.
No complaints.
Cool.
How about for you?
Pretty good. How was your Mother's Day?
Oh, it's the best Mother's Day ever.
I mean, it was a weekend, right?
Oh, yeah, it was the best Mother's Day week. The week ever. It was really, really good. And, it was despite the quarantine. I mean, this was better than when we wasn't on lockdown.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. I'm not getting in detail with all the things that I did, but you gotta be creative.
Yeah.
Way more creative.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and even in that creativity, I was able to find some running sneakers too. Yeah.
See, he just now speaking this in. He say nothing about it, and he's gonna wait until we filming before he said about the sneakers. Yeah.
And
Where you found them at?
Online.
How about you? We talk about that later.
Play this. My sneakers cost less than.
No. That we're not gonna average out.
It was less than
a Mother's Day. You did it why? Because it was Mother's because it was Mother's Day. So you gave sneakers for yourself.
Nah, I bought these sneakers like what's today?
You gonna keep going, huh? You gonna keep going with this?
No, but enough about me.
Right. So exactly right. Dig a little hole. Get deeper and deeper.
I won't dig a hole. Don't worry, I'll make up for dinner.
That sounds really dirty.
I mean, it's the truth. It's the truth. You the one with a dirty mind, mom. Dirty mother. Anyway.
Shut your mouth.
Oh God. Whew.
That's what you get.
Really? Yeah. Good old late '80s references. Yeah. All right. So again, focus on you today. Be candid. Answer the questions with honesty. When you were growing up, did you even want to be a mother?
That's a difficult question. I think part of me did, but when they told me I would never have children, I kind of avoid that.
Yeah.
That makes sense? So It's like I didn't want to get my expectations up of wanting to be a mother, and then I wasn't able to have children.
Cool. That makes sense. Mm-hmm. And as you were growing up, like what was your prototype of a mom? Like what would you deem as like that's a mom to me?
It was nothing I want to copy because I didn't think I would be a mother. But I would say my mother was between my mother and my grandmother. There really was that prototype for me. I mean, they were black, so they were black parents. I mean, you can get a whooping at any time. I was just even thinking about this. Church was really, really a big thing, and laying the foundation of church. And my mother and my grandmother, they were the ones that, if you're going to go to the club on Saturday, you're going to church on Sunday. So, but I would say both my mother and my grandmother was kind of the model for me.
Cool. So, with that being said, how do you think that those two matriarchs kind of meld into what you view as motherhood today? as having your own kids or whatnot?
Well, it's definitely a lot that I copy them. No, not really noticing. For example, I was thinking about this. Like my mother was school. School was like a huge thing. Like when we was in, when I was only child for a while before other kids came along, and my mother used to make cassette tapes before the cassette tapes, and she used to put me in the room and I had to listen to these cassette tapes all day long. It might not have been all day long, but it felt like that for me. And it was like ABCs, what's your name, and I was like, I would never do my children like this. Now being a parent, I don't use the cassette tapes, but I'm very much kind of school. It's like really essential. So a lot of stuff she did, like prepping me for school, I do. I do it with my children. Even though when I was younger, I was like, I would never do this. This is torture. I do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even like, I'm going to do that. It was just like, oh, crap, I'm doing the same things my mother. And I would say my grandmother, she was the help me get out of. And you like, cause no, so my mother would have me in those rooms, those tapes, and my grandmother would rescue me. It was like, "Love, breathe, leave her alone." And I could say sometimes for the kids, I'm that to them as well, especially when they getting it from you. I'm kind of like, wait, no, let's think about this. So I can see how both of them played, and they spoiled me, and I think I do that for my children a lot. And I put a lot of myself in the back burner to make sure, I can't say they have their needs of, not even needs, their wants are fulfilled.
Yeah.
I can't even say needs, it's their wants.
No, definitely not needs. Kids don't need none. Good answers, by the way. So, with that, with needs being met, wants being met, how do you, as a mother, handle just the daily grind of being a mother? Like, aside from being a wife, and aside from being a working mom, just a mom in and of itself.
And even going back, I say to me, being a kid, my mother and my grandmother made it look easy. I didn't think parenting was that hard.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I really didn't. And think about as a child, like, I mean, it ain't hard raising me. And then when you get children who are like you like, how did my mother do this? Like, how did she do this? This is hard. So being a parent is trying to. I would say I always want to be my children's role models. When they ask, how they do school assignment, ask who's your role model. I don't want my children have to search for or look for someone they saw on TV who don't know.
Yeah.
I always try to be their role model, and that is not by me being perfect, but being transparent. So I'm more transparent, and I allow my children to express themselves more than I was allowed to when I was a kid.
Okay. And in what way are you more transparent?
Like if I'm having a bad day or I'm feeling sad, I tell them. Like I'm feeling sad because da 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 da. I tell them it's not, and I think it took me a while to get there. It's not wearing the superhero cape and feel like you have to keep everything to yourself. Because even with that, some of the things I went through as a child, I don't want my children to go through. However, the things I went through as a child made me who I am today. And not to say, without that experience, I would be who I am.
Right.
For instance, I remember I used to do in-home.
Yeah.
And remember, I kept hearing in my mind. It was in the car. I was in the car dropping the client off, and I kept hearing, "Get out the car." And this is the time before I really knew the voice of God. So I'm like, "Okay, no, I'm tired. I don't feel like getting out the car." He was like, "Get out the car." I'm like, "No, I'm talking me and God." I didn't know it was God, so this is me inner self-talking. So I'm like, "Okay." And then God said, "Walk her to her door." The client, me. So as soon as I got the car, grabbed the bags, they started shooting around my car. And the thing that I was sad about, but my mother kind of helped me put things in perspective, I didn't get scared. Automatically, a plan popped into my mind of what do I need to do. And if it was about a certain area where it's not a lot of lighting, So my thing was, I was like, okay, let me run in the middle of the street. So if I get shot or anything, I would fall in the middle of the road. So somebody would have to stop and see me, as opposed to where my car is at. I won't, no one would see me if anything. I get shot. And afterward, plan worked out. Got back to my car, went home. And remember, I told you, I was like, I'm really sad that I wasn't scared. My first thing was to go into a plan. And I was like, and I even told my mother that, like, Mom, I went into a plan of what should I do. I wasn't even scared until after the fact. I'm like, oh my gosh, can you believe it? And my mom was like, no, you better be thankful that you went into plan, because someone else, that could have been your life. And just that perspective, because young guys seen a lot of people getting shot.
Yeah.
You know, just that perspective flipped. I was like, oh my gosh. So I have to, going back to my children, I have to be, not that I want them to be in a situation where they have people shooting around them, but I can't create such a bubble for them that when they go out in this world, they don't know what to do at all.
Yeah. Do you think that you could have done that kind of like unknowingly or unbeknownst to you?
Could have done what? Create a bubble?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm popping that bubble now. Oh, definitely I have created that bubble. Like, I'm the one. It's not funny, but I'm the one, like, when they on the playground and they on the monkey bars and stuff, I'm like, this, wait. Like, literally, I'm like, this. And Rashad's like, Kesha, like, look how old they are. Leave them alone. So now I'm kind of a little bit like, therefore they get up. You know, I'm not so much. Now, I'm not as loose as he is. Like, we go to the park and he's like, come back right here. No, we ain't coming back right here. I'm follow them and I need to always see you. In my call, I got a certain call I do. When I do that call, you need to respond back with another call. Yeah, I'm like that. But I did, like my oldest, I let her go into the, when we go in the malls, I let her go into the stores by herself now and let her purchase her own items instead of doing it for her. So that's improvement.
Major.
Yeah. And soon it's going to be going out with her friends, which is different here because, like I said, I'm from New York, so we wasn't driving. So going out with her friends here may be her driving with her friends, or I guess we'll drop her off.
On riding, yeah, so, you know. Yeah.
No, being the driver.
Dash.
Oh, you can't.
Oh, yeah. Time is. Yeah. That's really good. So, going back to motherhood and growing up, what do you think was the most challenging aspect of motherhood for your own mother? Just like thinking retrospectively, you know, as an adult looking back at it now, what do you think was the hardest part for her?
The hardest part, I would say, managing work life and being a parent. Because my mother is also a social worker, so sometimes social workers long nights.
Yeah.
So being able to manage how you be there for your children, but also the state is kind of requiring you to be there more for their children than yours. But I think she has, if I look at that, I said she has more of a benefit, and she will agree with me, she had more a benefit than I do. Because even though that was a struggle, she had a lot of support. Because my grandparents, my father, his family, you know, whereas opposed to us, it's kind of like, it's just us. So if somebody got to work late, it's like, one of us can't. It's like no option.
True.
And it's like, you know, even like when one of us got sick, with my mother, she had her parents to fall back on, you know, siblings to fall back on. But, you know, with us, it's kind of rock, paper, scissors, shoot. See who stayed home that day.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It was more. Yeah. That makes sense. Definitely makes sense. With leading to my next question, what has been the hardest aspect of motherhood for you?
Not having much support. That's been the hardest. It took me a while. Remember before that used to really bother me. Now it's kind of like I'm in my own world, you know, and I got support. But that was the hardest part, being a mother. Like when my children were sick, I couldn't be like, I'm taking them to mom, or dad can't do this, or, you know, everything had to be over the phone. There was no like Skype or face-to-face time at that time. So that was
Face time.
Face-to-face time, face-to-face. But that was the hardest part for me, not having that my family around. But it's even though it was hardest, I think that's what made me the mother I am now. Because I know if my family was around and I had them to lean on, I would have abused it. Like, it's like, Mom, I'm going out. See you later. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now I have to be independent. Like, there's no other option. It's no, I can't blame Mom going out. Mom and Dad in New York.
Pretty much. So, in response to that, how did you transition from I really wish I had all the support to I've settled into like, all right, like this is my life. I have to accept it as what it is.
I cried a lot of days. Be honest with you. And then when we did take the kids to New York, I was like, I can't. I think our children are so country now that I don't think they would thrive in New York. I don't think so. I don't know. So my thing is, I have to do it because it's for them. You know how many times we went home? And I'm like, should we just move down up here? Should we just move back home? But I really believe I wouldn't be the mother I am. Also, I don't think my children would do well in New York. And even my mother was like, nah, stay where you're at. You know, it's just certain obstacles they don't have to worry about being here.
Sure. Yeah, there's some definitive pros and cons. Mm-hmm. And the cons outweigh the pros.
I mean, our children, when they go to New York, they actually call them country. That's their nickname. But it's like stuff like New York, you're not really driving, you walking. My girls are like, why are we walking again? It's like, what? And another time, Madison, the first time we was walking and she saw like dirt on the street, it like hurt her soul. She was like, Mom, why would they do that to God's creation? Why would they act like this?
Why is it so dirty here?
And she tried to pick up everything off the street. And I just went, we in New York, babe. You can't pick stuff up that's on the street. And you let it go. Let it stay there. It's okay.
No, I get it.
Right. But that really hurt her soul.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that.
And seeing dogs use the bathroom on the side, that really, she was like, Ma, this is God creation. This is how the people treat it.
This is not good.
Right. And to remember the first time they took a train?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was like, our children are so, and those are things like I never thought about because being from New York, like taking a train is not a big deal. If you saw how their faces were when we took the train, you would thought we was pushing them down like an alley or something. They were so scared. And I'm like, what? And I'm getting upset. Like, what are you scared for? Come on, get on this train. And you know, in New York it's fast and we trying to hurry up. Like, hurry up, get on this train. And after I was like, this is their first time on the train. That's why they're scared.
It's a mess.
Right. Going under, like, they was like, go underground. So, I think, oftentimes I always say, I want to move back to New York. I'm getting to a place now where for my children, I think it's good. And it's also good for me, good development. And I think we do have so much life here now that to go back to New York is really be starting all over again.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not even just, I don't even want to talk about that. So, what part of motherhood, looking back at, that you wish you could have got earlier?
From me providing for my children? Or?
No, just in general. Like what part, like motherhood, that you understand now that wish you... Okay, what part of motherhood that you wish you understood at the beginning that you get now?
You know, I really wish I was more of an advocate for when, like, with Desiree, with her medical condition, and even know more about her. That's the time I really kind of reflect and go back, like, with her medical stuff, I really wish I knew more about it, and we could have prevented a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? We call our oldest our test child. Because some stuff, it's like, the second child was like, okay, we know not to do that, because when we did it with the first child, that didn't work out.
man.
So those things I really wish, with her medical stuff, I really wish that we kind of got a handle of that. If we knew more about her medical stuff in the beginning, that probably, I do go back and think, that probably would stop a lot of the stuff she has to go through now.
Yeah, and even getting into the next level of that question, what like thing about mothering or like being or like like the way you parent, like you wish you would have known back then that you know now.
I don't have to create a bubble for them, a perfect bubble for them. And it's okay to be transparent, because in the beginning I was not. I was not transparent. I felt like you should hide all struggles for kids. Kids should always think is raindrops and bubble gum. Like everything should be the perfect life. But what I understand later on,
Gumdrops.
gumdrops. Yeah, I said bubble drops. I couldn't think of it.
Raindrops.
Yeah, whatever. They think they should be good.
Yeah.
But as I got older, and as she got older, and the expectations, I'm like, where you get that from? That's not realistic. Now I realized, oh, I created that world for her. You know, remember since she was the only child, me and my oldest, anytime we went to the sneaker store, she was literally allowed to point out the sneakers she wanted. We bought it. So when we had other siblings, it was really hard for her, because then she's like, I want these sneakers. Well, your sister needs sneakers, and you got, and it's the hardest time. It was hard for her. So I really wish I didn't create this whole in a bubble. But not to say it shouldn't be a but thinking you're never going to have children, and then you finally get one, and you don't know what's going to happen again. It was like, oh my gosh, this is my baby. Oh my gosh.
So that was your reason why?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think consciously I knew that, but looking back, I'm pretty sure that was one reason why.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, why did you even do that in the first place?
And then with all her medical stuff.
Oh, see, so, okay.
So it was fear.
It was fear?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so you were fearful of what?
Well, her medical, her medical was going to get worse. I don't know how severe it's going to get. I was even that scared, and I know you remember this, about CPS coming in.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was just out of fear. But not really weird. Remember we took her to, remember when she was doing that thing where she was shaking, looked like she had a seizure? And we took her to the doctor, and CHKD.
Yeah.
And it's like they were almost like they was trying to investigate us before they would sell it.
Yeah, they did a low-key, like a soft investigation.
Yeah. And then when we called the doctor, in the hospital, she was like, oh, she's allergic to her milk. So we can investigate it, and the doctor's like, she's allergic to her milk. And not to say they called CPS or anything, but it was like,
that was like the protocol. They went right into that instead of really trying to diagnose an issue. Like they was fishing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not stupid.
And so you're trying to ask the question different ways to see. So it was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I could have another one.
Yeah.
And I had this one, so this is a miracle. To like fear with her medical, like I don't want to get worse. I don't want, when she's had that, look like she's having a seizure, I don't want that to happen again. I don't know how far it can go. And then CPS, I don't want CPS involved.
Nah, I do understand that. Yeah, that's yeah. I don't think you never admitted to that ever in life.
I did?
Nah, definitely not.
Did you ask the question?
Probably.
Oh. Lies.
Pretty sure.
Lies.
Pretty sure. Like something that you should be divulging anyway at a certain point in time. Oh man, yeah, that was really revelatory. That makes a lot of sense now.
But I don't think it's never, like you say, divulged. It wasn't like a secret, but I don't think it was ever thought of either.
Yeah, true. I'll give you that today. It is Mother's Day. So what would you tell, because you had your first child at 20 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
What would you tell a younger mother? Not like somebody in their 28, 30 years old. Hopefully you're semi-established by then. But somebody on the younger end of the spectrum. What are some of the pitfalls that they could avoid if you have, have a child that young?
I'm big on social worker. Use your community resources. Use your resources. A lot of people I don't want to go to my thing when it came to my children. If any resources out there that can help, I was going to use it. As long as it wasn't anything demeaning or,
Yeah.
Use your resources. Also, listen to what your parents say, but also be strong enough to kind of create a different path. So even though like some things I do that's clear, my mother, certain things I don't do that's not them, and I know in the beginning there wasn't a liking to it, especially grandma, to what I did. But I was okay with it. You gotta be okay with it. So I would say follow your own path. This is your child. Um, Also, open communication. Try to communicate, even when your child is young. Talk to them. Talk, and I think we did a lot of that. Like we talked to our child, even in this,
In utero.
yeah,
Yeah.
we did a lot of talking. Um, Education was big for me. Just maybe going back with saying you remember with Desiree, like your voice. I can be asleep or I can be standing still. She could be calm that day, me in my stomach, and she would hear his voice and go off. She's like she got excited when she heard his voice. So it was such a point that you couldn't walk in the room and speak. And he come in, I was like, please don't talk today. I was looking at him like, don't talk. Like she calm. This is in my stomach now. Like she calm. Leave her alone. And then you say, when I went to sleep, you'd talk and get her riled up. And then remember when I had her, it was a lot of people in my room. When she heard your voice, she turned her head and looked. And I was like, infants can do that? I didn't know babies can do that. Like out the womb, and she heard his voice and turned and looked. Like I was like, oh my gosh, that was so revelatory for me about God.
Yeah, let's not make this a Father's Day episode.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry, but that's so revelatory for me about God. That was like, oh.
Yeah, that was awesome. Maybe next one we'll do a Father's Day episode. I doubt it though.
In June.
Because nobody cares about Father's Day.
Oh, I gotta say this thing I really care about.
The lamest holiday ever created by man.
Think of like, give up to all the single mothers who are dead.
Yeah. All the baby mamas out there, you know what I'm saying, holding down for their kids, and they daddy ain't there for them. Like, cool out, yo.
We do a Father's Day.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, next question.
I don't even want to do it. No more questions. We're done. No, all right. So, talked about early on. Talked about. Okay, so now So, when you do have difficulties in regards to being a mother and how you're doing things and how you perceive you're doing. Okay, how do you get out of having mom guilt? I know a lot of mothers are super guilty about having to have a job or have a life or just wanting to do things for themselves. Like, how do you get out of, being, because you have single, you know what I'm saying, and you have married or whatever. If you had a wedlock, it's okay. Then you have, marriage, Kesha. Then you have mom, Kesha.
Then Kesha.
Yeah, regular Kesha. So how does Kesha reconcile?
Not regular Kesha. It's not regular Kesha.
Phenomenal Kesha. So how does phenomenal Kesha reconcile and not be, parent out of guilt?
Oh, that was hard, and it's still sometimes really hard. I'm gonna be honest with you. One, discipline is discipline. So even if I'm having parent guilt, if I tell you do not pass go, don't collect $200, that's what I mean. Even inside, I might go and be like, Michelle, I feel so bad. I said what I said, so I don't let them see that part. And I did, especially when I worked at night. I did have a lot of mom guilt. They used to come visit me, and they're like, "See you tomorrow, Mom." I used to cry. I did, so I kind of did stuff extra but also I had to swallow that mom guilt. So I worked at night. In the morning time, I volunteer at the school, so this is a way for me to see them. Even now, I work far away from their school. So a lot of times when they have parenting programs and stuff, it's during the day. I can't not go to work every time they have something at school.
Yeah.
And that bothers me a lot. It's like I don't want my child, and I'm big on support, and I don't want my child to have an award ceremony and every parent's there and no one's clapping for my child. So when they went to other school, they aren't made it easy because their aunt would take pictures and their aunt and uncle would take pictures and be there. So that made me calm. Like, I didn't have any guilt. But now, I just see, also, my kids about money and privileges. So what I do is offer them, okay, since you got that award for such and such and I can't make it, let's go out to eat to celebrate.
Yeah, and most time, like, I'm able to...
You're able to make it.
To make it.
That always bothers me. Like, school, I'm like, why have an award ceremony, like, 1 o'clock?
At 1:30?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or parents-teacher conference. Parents-teacher conference at 2. Well, how about everybody else?
Like, most of your parents are teaching. I mean, are working. Yeah.
And even you being a teacher, like, you have parents, you got to be for your parents-teacher conference. But how about our children? So that's one thing I still get, like, why have parents and teachers conference at like 2?
Yeah, so guilt.
Yeah, it is. It is. I try not to let it guilt. Even going to their schools and picking them up, and they like, can I see your ID? I'm like, what? Who are you? What do you mean, who are you? I'm the mother. That bothers me to my soul. That still does. But I just don't let it impact my parenting, like, especially when it comes to discipline. Yeah. Even, like, we did a little TikTok video, and my daughter put mom, and an arrow pointed to me. She said, because most people don't never see my mom. I was like, what? Oh, my gosh. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she did that. I was like,
May did that?
Yeah. She said, I want to show them this is my mom. I was like, so a lot of people assume he's a single father anyway.
It's hard out here to be a single dad.
Shut up. No,
so hard being a single dad.
But, okay, my oldest go to the school he works at. He's a teacher.
You ain't gotta explain.
No, I do.
You ain't gotta explain
This is parenting out of guilt.
My single fatherhood.
This is parenting out of guilt. My older daughter goes to school right beside the school he works at. So he takes them to school and picks them up because by the time I leave the house early and I'm the first to leave and the last to come.
Yeah, so I basically, let me explain because you messed that all up. I take my youngest to school. I'll drop off our middle child. My oldest child goes, I work at the same school she goes to high school at. So, like, I have the kids.
Yeah.
I am the prototypical single father.
Say it again. Say it again. You're going to be out there in YouTube land.
Oh, God. Not land.
Land. My TV land.
So old.
I know. So, I still get that. And it doesn't... sometimes I do correct them. I'm like, what? I'm the mother. I do sometimes. But it doesn't bother me as much. And I can understand why people say that because you don't see me much in the schools.
You security risk.
Keep it up. Keep it
Random
up.
black ladies taking these kids. Where's Mr. Jones?
Like I said.
Mr. Jones.
So I understand you really don't see much in the schools, but I know in the schools most of the time I contact. You don't see much in schools, but I'm the point of contact.
Oh, yeah, well, we hear you though.
Right. Exactly. I'm the point of contact.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I give you that. They may not see you, but they definitely hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna read it.
So that's how I make up for that gap of feeling guilty. Like, okay, I can't be there physically, but I call the teachers, I email the teachers, hey, what's going on? How, keep me up to date. So even the admin doesn't know me. Usually the teachers, they know my voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So that was good. I mean, because a lot of moms I see parent out of guilt, and I think it's so it's apparent, but it's not. But they don't see it.
They don't see it. Yeah.
Like I tried to tell you earlier, like, yo, you gotta stop parenting out of guilt, and you was very non-receptive to what I was saying.
It's about boundaries.
Yeah.
Boundaries, because children are children. Human behavior. When they see that it's a gap, they try to use it.
Yeah.
So once I realized, I'm kind of parenting out of guilt, and they see it.
Yeah,
I had to put in boundaries and.
Like kids are trash, man. Like they don't care.
They're
they're gonna try to. Yeah, they're gonna try.
But we do it too as adults.
Yeah. We trash too.
We quiet. It's human behavior. So when boundaries, I had to boundaries. So a lot of times, they might express, such and such was there. Not to say I apologize, but that's what I did. Remember, I was like, I apologize, and I want to be there. I always want to be there, but I can't always be there. But you know what? The lights you cut on, that's a result of me going to work. When you say I want a new pair of sneakers, that's because I went to work, and you know how long I got to work to get that new pair of sneakers. So when you go and lay down and you see them bids, that's because. So that's kind of I had to make it realistic. So that I have to say that's the reason I can't always come to everything, because I have to work so you can get the stuff that you need and want.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think I was wrapping this up. Like, I think you've grown so much as
thank you,
as a mother and as a parent overall, and it shows. Like even like especially like, even and we'll talk about this in another episode. Basically talking about how you like marriage to the rough times. Even when you were going through your rough patch with your health, you still were a very active and present parent. And I salute you for that, because I would not have been. I'm like, bro, like I'm done. Fatherhood, man. You gotta get on my face. I gotta get me right. And I'd have been so selfish with that. And I respect you. I respect you way more just as an overall person.
Yeah,
like through that.
And through sometimes tribulations, it helped you to develop who you are. Either I can overcome it or I could succumb to it. Yeah. And that was my healing process. That was the only two options I had. So still doing all your hair, and a little bit of my process, I lost my sight, and the one eye was open, the other eye was closed, and the one that I had my sight in was the one that was closed. I couldn't open, and I was doing it here like, literally. I'm laughing now, but I wasn't laughing then.
Oh, you really want to do this? Like, yeah. I'm like, really?
Parts may have been like.
Like, I don't think this is a good idea. Like, I gotta do, okay, hey, whatever.
But you like that? You like, oh, that's cute.
Like, you did a good job,
And I just feel my way around, even just walking up and down the steps. And all this medical stuff happened right after I had the last child, and having to be home alone sometimes, and had to walk them down the steps. Like, okay, I'm either gonna cry or. She's gonna need milk. She's gonna need her pen. Like, I'm gonna have to do something. So even like counting the steps and scooting down the steps with her in my hand.
Yeah.
Like, scoot. What? I know we got 12 steps. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. You didn't tell me that either.
Yeah.
A lot of revelations.
I didn't tell you that.
Told me that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something you definitely should have told me, just out of sheer safety for my child. Endangered her. All right, we're going to stop right here today, guys. This has been another episode of Hanging with the Joneses.
Something else?
I am Rashad.
I'm Kesha, and happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Hope you guys have an awesome day. We see you again next week.